What's up, y'all? So I have been fly fishing from my Bonafide XTR130 for about a month now, and ended enough now that I think that I can make a video and share kind of the things that I noticed that make this such a great fly fishing platform. And a couple of those things I'll talk about: stability for one, the comfort of the seat, being able to sit up high, the ability to put two motors on it. So I have a trolling motor and I have an NT300. So my Minnkota is a Terrova. It has spot lock and all those awesome GPS features. They're crazy helpful when it gets windy. And that's the biggest thing about this, between this being like a traditional kayak and more of a micro skiff, because I can run this like a boat with that tiller, that NT300. It runs about 7 miles per hour. It's a 36 volt. They call it an outboard. It's kind of more like a trolling motor, but it kicks up when I hit a stump, which is kind of nice because I fish a lot of stumpy areas. But then I have the GPS functions of the Minnkota Terrova. 55-pound thrust. You're going to be able to move this boat quickly all the way. I have a 50 amp hour battery that I have up in the storage. But I'm going to show you all the stability. I'll talk about storage for a little bit, fly rods, gear, and then kind of show you all the Terrova and the NT300 and why I think this is such an amazing platform. If you're into fly fishing, this is definitely something you want to look at. So let's jump into it, and we'll start off with stability, because I think that if you're looking at a fly fishing platform, you want something you can stand up, you want something you can turn around in, you want something that you're going to feel secure in, you're not going to fall out. So you have that. You have this wide open deck down there, and you can kind of tell I move around pretty easy. I've been in it a while, almost since February, and I've been fishing all over. But stability, amazing stability. Like, I think you can fall out of this boat. I don't know that you can flip it over. And I'll show you, I'll get on the sides of this in a second. But what I wanted to point out was you have that entire tank well basically to move up and down. So if you're trying to cast a fly or get a fly into a certain position, sometimes the angle doesn't work at the front. But with your trolling motor, with that spot lock, I can maneuver, and then maybe sometimes I'm having to cast off the back of the boat. So, which is kind of nice because that seat is so high that if it's windy, I can put my little stripping pad there and I can strip line into that seat. I can also use that as like a lean rest, which a lot of times when it's windy and I'm fishing, I'll move that forward so I can have it behind me, and then I can sit in it. The biggest thing between this and like a regular kayak is, in a regular kayak, you kind of sit down closer to the deck, which means that everything you're doing, fly line, your hands, stripping, trying to strip set, it's all happening in like a limited space, and your legs and everything are kind of in the way. With this, you're up high. So if you sit on the edge and you're in that chair that's off the deck, you do everything into the floor. Casting from a seated position, like when you're elevated like that, is a lot easier as well, because your fly rod and everything's higher up. It makes a huge difference to me. So I like that. I wanted to point that out because the seat, not only is it comfortable, which has got all day comfort for like riding around, don't have back pain, you sit in a regular like seat like you normally would, super amazing for that. But you can also use it as like a lean rest, which if you've ever been in a drift boat, like those are kind of nice. Okay, so the other thing we need to talk about is fly rod storage, because this is kind of the one area that isn't ideal. Let me jump back up here and show you what I'm talking about. So Bonafide comes with two of these little side tracks, and they're really made for conventional rods. An 8-foot rod fits in here no problem. That's a 9-foot rod. It's my 9-foot 8 weight, and you can kind of tell it hangs off the back just a little bit, but it does go in, gives you some tip protection, and you got two of those. Typically, if I have a 9-foot rod, I'll store it like that. Now, especially if I'm just moving around, but I get kind of like, I don't like to hang it off the back, because this is where if you hit something, it's going to jam the rod tip. And let me show you what I mean, because this is I love the storage. However, you can kind of tell. So now you put the lid up, you can kind of tell this is all the space you get. So the fly rod fits right there, but I wish they had cut a hole right there and you can run longer rods in. I was going to cut one in. I don't know if you have enough space there to cut a hole and like run a PVC and then seal it up with silicone. That would be perfect for a fly rod. Maybe the next one they'll make some improvements. And the other thing I like to do is I'd like to see a cover over this. All right, I think I saw the fly rod problem I was having. Found this bin at Walmart in the bathroom section for like $2.50. The screws and there's threaded inserts. All I had to do was drill 2 holes to put those, and this allows me to carry multiple fly rods on the side and use these stagers and the rod tip protectors in the kayak. While I have this open, let's talk about the storage, because this is amazing. This is what opens up the deck. You don't have to put anything out in your way. So like, you're not going to snag anything. You're not going to have anything in your feet. You're not going to have to avoid anything. You're not going to trip over anything. So I have all the stuff I would need: my shoes, water, lunch, flies, sunglasses. I keep everything in here because it's out of the way. It's easy to get to, and then when I need it, I just can get in there and get it. While I have this is your two snags, right? You have both sides. They're kind of a pain. You can kind of tell when they're down. Fly line will get underneath there. When I'm fishing, I just push those behind me, and I'm standing here, stripping line right here. The sides are low, so you do get some wind pushing your fly line into the water. Went ahead and also removed the foot pegs for the kayak on both sides. Like I said, the inserts, same thing. They're back there. They're already included. They're already threaded. All I did was pull the bolts out for that back little basket. So this is kind of helpful. Some type of mat. This is just straws I made. It's just a prototype. This is the first time I've tried it. It's been pretty good though. But you can kind of tell. I wouldn't stand up here with those underneath like that because you put a lot of tension on your snaps. But if I'm standing down here like today, it's pretty windy. So I'm fishing down here. And I'll show you the front hatch. Let me get this out of the way. And the nice thing is you have all this mat up here, because if you're going to crawl around your knees, it's kind of helpful. But you can kind of see you have a huge front hatch. I usually have 2 batteries in here, a live scope. I've taken all that out because I'm not really live scoping anymore. And I got just one 50 amp hour battery. And then I have my 9.5 foot 6 weight that I brought. You can put a full size tube in there. You probably as many as you want, really. This thing is, I mean, it goes all the way there, and then it goes, I mean, you can kind of tell I had the battery back. But you have tons of space up here for storage, which is amazing, because this hatch, not only is it stable enough, you can stand up here. Any type of elevation you get is going to allow you to like cast better, get better distance. It's just amazing. Such a good boat. So I think that's pretty much it. I want to talk about stability, storage, motor options, and then fly rod storage. And that's pretty much, we'll go fish a little bit and I'll show you exactly how I use the Terrova, because when it's windy like it is today, having spot lock and having that autopilot, it's a big difference. So we got a little bit of a headwind. It's a perfect time to show the autopilot and the spot lock and how you can use those to make the boat hold its position for you so you can fish. Definitely got to use the technology. So you can kind of see pretty good headwind. If I were going to try to fish this, let me turn my spot lock off. You can see how quickly we move back. So like if you cast and then tried to start stripping line, it would just be a nightmare. You're constantly fighting, trying to mess the trolling mode, then you speed up. Then you turn it off to fish. And then you cast. And then while you're here, like, it won't take but just half a second, we'll start drifting again. And we're already starting to go. And now the boat's turning, you can see. So it's just a constant battle all the time. That's why this is, I had it at 6.5, that's why we adjusted so fast. So let me drive I'm gonna aim it at, let's see, do this, the autopilot first. So kind of in that direction there. You turn your motor on, so that we're driving. The faster you go, the better it's gonna hold its course, because it's gonna want to blow the rear end of this thing around. So we'll hit that a little bit. All right, so that's pretty good. Then you hit autopilot. Okay, so this is gonna hold its course. Now I can adjust the speed, so if I wanna go faster, I turn it up. I wanna go a little slower. This is great when you're casting. So like you can see, we're moving that past those trees pretty fast. So if you wanted to go slower, depending on what the wind is doing, you can make those adjustments and you can fish kind of slow. Gives you a chance to just you know, make multiple casts in an area without ever having to mess with this control. If I were casting, like the cast up there, almost like holding steady here, so I'll bump it up a little bit. And you can cast over here. Same thing, cast over there. And keep in mind, like, you gotta adjust the speed because you're gonna get some drag, like your line's gonna get pushed behind you. So I'll slow it down some. And you can see this is constantly making adjustments. It's kind of aiming at that big tree. It's kind of what I was going for. And we're just kind of slowly making our way. But say from here, you're like, you know, that spot looks really good, so you're like, hit the spot lock. So this is gonna lock us down right here. And since it's kind of windy, it's gonna do a pretty good job of holding you in this spot. So we're kind of in line with these trees right here. I think I hit it kind of up there. So we'll see what it does. Yeah, and that's engaged. So if you wanted to fish these trees or a point in front of you or something, this is where it's great. I could walk back here behind me. I could fish off the back of the boat. So depending on what the wind is doing, like I go spot lock on points and channels and whatnot, and I can fish any of that. Hit the spot lock. Let the trolling motor work for you. Paid all that much money for you, might as well use it, right? Two other things to talk about. This has a capacity of over 700 pounds, so you can carry a second person. They actually sell a second seat. You can put it in the front up here and take one of those hatches out. And then, like, say you're gonna go into the marsh and sight fish, redfish, one person could be in the back, either using the motor or poling, and the other person can be at the front, sight fish or redfish. That'd make this would be an awesome saltwater flats boat. Like I paid them to be there. And the other thing is, I've also heard rumors that awesome. It's going to be rated for a 6 horsepower at some point in time. I think when I talk about this deck, it's nice. But everything I've seen says you can run a 3 on it for sure. But if you could put a 5 or a 6 horsepower motor on this thing would scoop. Just need the clouds to come out a little bit. Thanks, buddy. You're on camera. Pretty fish. We'll let him go. All right, y'all. I don't know how else to wrap up the video. That was perfect. Thank you, fish, for making my point. Spot lock, the autopilot, this boat. It's amazing. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you got any questions, let me know. I'm trying to answer all of those. Like I said, I fished from a kayak for a long time, and this has changed how I think about fly fishing from little plastic boats. That is it.